I just got that text that the link is definitely cut the fuck off for November. Y'all better stay the fuck out of my way in these stores. I'm walking out with carts and I'm not paying for shit. Trump, if you won't, motherfuckers start looting, it's gonna happen. Before my kids go broke in this bitch like Jock, I'm gonna be stealing like it ain't no tomorrow. I am going to go in that store, get everything I get regularly. I'm going to bag my shit up, swipe my link card, as soon as that bitch say, ain't no pending balance on there, I'm going to walk the fuck out. And I'm going to have one of my cousins with me that'll punch your ass so hard, you going to think a Jet 2 holiday hit your bitch ass if you think I ain't finna walk out that store. And please follow me to that motherfucking car if you feeling motherfucking froggy, bitch. You ain't going to make it back to your motherfucking position at that fucking Walmart store. I'm telling you. You want to take some link? Like, I don't be taking shit already. Watch this. It's okay.
Giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem HaKodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. Got another clip to play as well. And I've seen videos like this all week ever since the announcement that went out that the government has sent out to all of the recipients for people who are like on Section 8, food stamps, etc., that as long as the government shut down, which currently today being October 19th, Monday, 2025, that rolling into November, that more than likely you won't get anything for November. The thing is, though, they were already doing cuts. You've had people who show videos and they showed how they used to get maybe like $700 a month. It's been reduced to like $25 or like $75. So it's already being reduced. So let's say if this shutdown was to stay going into November, well, you most guaranteed ain't gonna get nothing. But even if they did open it up, they could still just say, well, look, you still ain't gonna get nothing. So either way, the cuts is happening. As the prophecy says, the vintage is starting to fail, and they shall lament for the teats and the wines, meaning they just gonna reminisce the old days, but it's not gonna go back to normal. It's not gonna go back to where it was. Lord willing, it doesn't. But the thought of moving forward and those cuts are happening has a lot of, you mainly hear from women saying, well, then I'm just going to steal. And the reasoning is always the same, because my kids. You saw the video with Big Mama saying I got 9 kids to feed. And I've been coming down here 5 days in a row. I got 9 kids to feed. And, that's their mind frame, which the prophecy warns us about, right? And I think about what Yahweh Shai said here back in Matthew 24, verse 15, captioned perilous times. Now, in this particular time, he's referring to 70 AD. However, according to the same prophecy, right, a time worse than 70 AD is about to come upon us all, especially over here in the land of Babylon, America. He says, verse 15, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in a holy place, whoso readeth, let him read. And he's referring to 70 AD, where Jerusalem was sacked. Okay. And Jerusalem was sacked. It was a horrible time for our people. We were scattered. You could say scattered on all 4 corners, but primarily into the land of Egypt, primarily, right? But also in Europe, okay? And we've basically been on the run ever since, especially since that time, even more so since that time. So it was a very horrible time for our people to experience, which Yahweh Shai, he knew the time. Our people didn't know the time, though. He prophesied of it, but it was just a matter of playing it out. And it was estimated that Yahweh Shai was on the scene for approximately 33 years old, they say, and or some will say between 33 to 40 years. So it was around the corner, especially for that generation. But they didn't know. That's why he's giving the counsel that he's about to give now. Okay, he says, so when you see him come, right, verse 16, it says, then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. Why is that? Because when you look up how they did Jerusalem, they made a siege against them. And the research I found was that what happened was the general, Vespasian, they set up a barrier, a siege around Jerusalem. What they did was they let people enter, but they didn't let people come out. So if you was to go in there, you basically wasn't getting out. And their goal was to starve you to death. So if anybody tried to leave to try to come out because of their starvation, they got put to death, they got killed. It's similar when you read the story of in the book of Judith. So that's what they did. That's why the Lord gave the counsel. When you hear that the time is coming, or you hear that they've seized Jerusalem, do not return back. Just cut your losses. Leave everything what you got at home. Leave it and skedaddle. Because at that point you're on the run. Don't try to go back. But wait a minute, my grandma. But wait, if I can just go back home and gather my things. But wait, if we let's pack it. Let's go get stock our suitcase. Don't do that, because if you did, more than likely you didn't make it out. You just had to cut your losses and go. So we learned from 70 AD, right? And he also said, verse 19, he says, and woe to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. Why is that? Well, when you research what happened in 70 AD, women who were nursing their children, who had children, right? If your child isn't really an adult, a teen, so to speak, they had it the worst, because not only did they have to try to struggle to survive under those harsh conditions, they had to watch their own children basically die before them. And some of them even went as far as to eat their own children. That's how horrible that the time was. See? So he says, but woe to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. And these are times where the winter is the harshest time of the season. Everybody knows that. And on the Sabbath day, meaning a day where you caught off guard, right? You relaxed, so to speak. And our enemies use the Sabbath day against us. When you read the Maccabees, they use it as a day where they know that we were, for the most part, we had our guard down. And when they surprised on us, jumped on us, most of us, right, was hesitant to try to fight back or to restrain because of the day. And they knew that because of our spiritual beliefs, that it would be something they could take advantage of. It says, for then shall be tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And that's the time that we're about to enter into. The scriptures refer to it as Jacob's trouble. There's a lot that encompasses Jacob's trouble. Primarily what encompasses Jacob's trouble is Esau, Edom, okay, losing his power. And since he is Cain in the reincarnation, he's going to do what he did as Cain, which is slay his brother, because he sees that his power, he's rejected, and his brother is being accepted, which is us, the believers. So his time as ruling the planet Earth and being the hammer on the planet Earth is come to an end. It's coming to an end. He knows that. But when you read the blessing, when Isaac blessed both Jacob and Esau was mad because he sold his birthright, and Jacob supplanted him for the blessing that he told himself in his heart. He said, the days are coming of mourning for my father, then will I slay my brother Jacob. And Jacob's been on the run from his brother Esau ever since. And now that he has us in his grasp, so to speak, like we're under him, knowing that he's about to lose his power and we're about to enter the kingdom of heaven, he's going to come down with great wrath upon the whole world, and especially you Israelites, especially our people, because he's always had that, and because he lost the blessing. That's what, if you didn't know, that's why there's violence in the Middle East and in Gaza as of right now, because Esau is trying to steal the birthright. Because when you look up the Abraham's blessing in Genesis 15, it was more than just the land of Jerusalem. It was actually from the Nile River to the Euphrates River. So it's that whole landmass. So that's what they're trying to take. They don't want peace. They don't want to cohabitate with anybody else there in peace. They don't want that. They want to steal. They want the whole landmass that their minister, Benjamin Satan, not a real Jew, said it. He said, we expanded here and we're going to keep expanding. That's what this is all about. It's all about Jacob and Esau. But nonetheless, a part of Jacob's trouble is hard times, cuts. Okay, they cutting. They know they know our people need to feed. They know our people are the poor. They don't care. Because in the midst of all this, they're trying to bring in the mark of the beast, which is the microchip. So they have to create the chaos to bring about the order. The order will be justification for martial law troops and National Guard troops in every city. They're going to create the issue so that they can justify bringing the national troop, because they want to create a police state. They want to create the New World Order, which is the image of the beast in today's term. In the ancient word terms, it's the Roman Empire system back in full effect. Okay, Emperor Augustus changed this Roman system from a democracy to an empire where he controlled all the power to himself. They're doing the same thing now, except it's going to be by the hands of the wicked elite rich. So they're trying to create the system where it's just the super elite rich and the working poor, and they're going to bring their mark to go with the image, right? Their mark is going to be that RFID microchip. That's that final stamp of you being a slave to them forever. They usually want you a slave. The digital ID is just part of the infrastructure to bring about the chip. So they're going to create shortages. They're going to create chaos. So when they offer a solution such as UBI, Universal Basic Income, your monitored digital currency, your carbon footprint, how much bread you buy, how much meat you buy, all those things, when they offer it to you, you're going to take it because you're so used to being and reliant on the system. That they know that a lot of you are just going to take it, but they got to get people uncomfortable first. And this is what they're doing. All prophetic. Luke 23:26. And as they led him away, they laid upon him one Simon, a Cyrenian, coming out of the country, and on him they laid the cross, that he might bear it after Yahushua. And there followed him a great company of people and of women, which also bewailed and lamented him. But Yahushua turning unto them and said, Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For behold, the days are coming in which they shall say, Blessed are the barren, and the wombs that never gave bear, and the paps which never gave suck. Then shall they begin to say to the mountains, Fall on us, and to the hills, cover us. For if they do these things in the green tree, what shall be done in the dry? And we're coming into the dry times. But why did he say, weep for yourselves and your children? Because the day is going to come where you're going to say, Blessed are the barren that never had to bear womb. Now, you would ask, at what time would there ever be a good thing for a woman who unfortunately is unable to conceive seed or bear children, which is a curse, right? At what time is it ever going to be where that will be considered a blessing? That's when you have to deal with hard times and hardships, which, as you can see, the times we're coming in is worse than before. That's why Yahushua said what he said. So he's prophesying of a hard, strict times, where when you read about 70 AD, the women had to suffer the fact of watching their own children die. And many of them went as far as to eat their own children, which that's a curse in itself as well. It's really hard for, they say one of the worst things a woman could do is bury her child, especially her own son. Just like when you read the story of Hagar, when Abraham cast her out and she thought that her and Ishmael was going to perish, she went to hide Ishmael under the bush and walked away, and she said, let me not see the death of my son, because that's hard for them to bear. But then the Lord came and said, no, you gonna make it. You and your son gonna make it. Okay, no woman wants to experience that. That's why these women today are panicking. Why? Because they're thinking about the future, and they're thinking about watching their own children go without food or water, and now they're thinking like, I have to do something they feel obligated to as a parent. That's why it's called Jacob's trouble, you understand? That's why you see why the Lord said what he said. Next clip.
as you guys know, Trump is trying to cut food stamps as in like November 1st, which is in a couple weeks, the day after Halloween. We may see the effects of that instantly, but I know by December 1st, we will be in full-blown panic. This country will be in full-blown panic by December 1st. That means the holidays are technically canceled. He is technically canceling Thanksgiving and Christmas because of this, because people are not going to be able to afford food on all sides. Because no matter what Republicans say, there are Republicans on food stamps. There are right-wingers on food stamps. They don't like to admit that they are on food stamps, but they are on food stamps. These government or Democrat-ran programs such as food stamps, WIC, are also helping those that do not talk about the issues. They are about to realize how real politics are, because he is going to strip government-funded programs from people that look like them too. Now, once this happens, I need you to understand what it looks like when people are hungry in a country. I don't think you've ever had to realize what it looks like since we've had food stamps for so long. People have been able to feed their kids. When people are not able to feed their fucking kids, people are going to rob, steal for their children. Now, what I'm telling you to do right now is be ready that those food pantries and those food places that give out food, donation-based, are not going to have as much either, because everybody's going to try to go to them. So right now, today, October 17th, you have time between now and November 1st to start stocking your motherfucking house. Go to the store now, grab as much shit as you can. Act like it's COVID and you think you're about to be in the house for 2 weeks. Go get groceries. I'm talking about stock the fuck up on anything perishable. That means beans, rice, the stuff that your mama used to make for struggle meals. Get as much of that as possible, because once it's gone, it's gone. Remember how we had a supply shortage to begin with the trade tariffs and shit? We ain't gonna have nothing. We ain't gonna have nothing. So if we want to survive this, we need to make sure that we stock our houses and be ready to fucking share with our neighbors. Sharing will be caring, and that's the only way we can survive. If you have children, make it well known to your neighbors that, hey, I might need some help if this goes down the way we believe it will. Sharing will be caring in this country, and we have to. There's no option, or we will not survive, and people will die. Do you understand me? So as you guys...
But here's the thing with that. See, the pandemic had already shown that, especially in the land of Babylon, that idea of coming together to work together, people ain't gonna do it. They didn't do it during the pandemic. They hoarded all the water. They took all the toilet paper. It was up to the stores to put a limit on how much people can buy. So that shows you that, look, I seen there was an Edomite couple that literally pulled up to like the dollar store and took the whole store supply. They rented a U-Haul just for that. Just is it a few months ago, early in the year, when they was talking about an egg shortage, you had this looks to be an Issachar family. They went into what was that? What's that store that people go to? It's like Sam's, but it's the other one. They went up in there and they literally took like the whole store supply of eggs. I'm talking about 20, not even 20, more than that of the eggs, and they was about to fight because people was bad. Why are you taking all the eggs? It already showed that in this society, that when it comes time to work as a community and come together for the greater good during the time of a crisis, these people ain't gonna do that. You're not gonna do it. You don't know why? Because in the land of Babylon, America never had to go through such troubles and struggles, unlike other countries where they know how to make it work. America doesn't do drills in case there's a missile drop or a bomb, because you never had to worry about that. In this land, it ain't gonna be no sharing is caring. It's gonna be, you're gonna have to withhold or hide what you do got, because your next door neighbor is gonna be plotting on you and your kids and your family. Somebody, the last time I was at the grocery store, somebody got caught stealing while we was just walking in there. And there was a Jake who was like, I don't know why he even wastes his time. Well, it's not worth it. I said, well, it's about to be more that you know. He like, but it's not worth it. This is a busy street. You're not going to get anywhere. And I'm like, dude, there's a government shutdown. People are already struggling. You about to see more. Pretty soon, them grocery stores are going to have burglar bar doors. Pretty soon they're probably going to have to limit how many people can go in the store just to keep a watch. Yes, this is how you're going to know things are really getting serious. As he says in 2nd Esdras 15, verse 18. It says, "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men afraid." The pride is because Americans never had to worry about this. And here's what you have to realize. All this chaos, all the shortages are manufactured. The devil knows what he's doing. There's no actual, they create bread shortages when they want. They create chicken shortages when they want. They will literally sabotage and derail trains and pollute the water system and set fire to chicken farms. They will do those things to create the issue, to create the problem, so that there can only be one solution, the solution that they offer, which is GMO foods, lab-grown meat, cockroach soup, and cricket souffle. This is what they're trying to do. Okay, because they can't put on the shelf lab-grown meat, 100% lab-grown meat, next to the 100% Angus beef, because they know that the 100% Angus beef is going to sell all the time. So they'll say, oh, well, in that case, we'll just get rid of the competition. We'll get rid of the Angus beef, so then there's only a need for what we bring forth. That's what this is all about. So these shortages, the government shut down, all your cries and what you need to do, what they know exactly. This is all the same time they're rolling out the troops. So they're going to justify having those troops on a round-the-clock, 24/7 basis in your city and say this is the permanent change. But don't worry, we're coming up with a solution. It's called the digital ID, which is going to lead to the RFID microchip. Yeah, there's no getting around what's prophesied to happen. Their only solution is to come back to Yahushua, who's the Son of Man, who's the Son of Yahweh, and listen to his words and his prophecy, and you have to come back to Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. Next verse, it says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." That's the times we're coming in. Yeah. So she can foresee the evil times is coming, but they're trying to prevent it by saying, look, we're going to have to work together at the time. Yeah, ideally, you think that's what's going to happen, but these Americans aren't ready to go through any struggle. They aren't ready to go through any struggle. The pandemic showed them that. All it took was a little fear, a little shaking of them, and they all walked in line to offer the whatever solution they had, which was that experimental jab. They didn't care. People were stealing. They went to the store. Dude took all the ramen noodles. People were taking all the bread, all of everything, just because of fear of being without. These people ain't ready for it. You're too damn proud in the land of America, land of Babylon the Great. And yeah, men feel the need that my family gonna eat. So they're gonna do whatever it takes, which means they're gonna spoil their neighbor. They're gonna betray family members. They're gonna betray their own moms, their own dad. Yeah, that's the time because you thinking rational. Okay, I can feed us. I've been storing up. Come on over here. But the whole time they thinking, if I take yours, then me and my family can eat for months. That's how they think. And this is why when the Lord said here in 2nd Esdras 16, verse 40, he says, "O my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth." He's not kidding. He's not kidding. You know what that means? It means you don't have no attachments. And then here's the point down here, verse 44. It says, "They that marry, as they that shall get no children, and they that marry not, as the widowers." So the mindset should be, right? If you do marry, as if you won't have children, because the times are short, and they that marry not, meaning you're single, as a widower, meaning you won't remarry again. Why? Because of evil times. This is when the Lord said these things, it's really to try to spare you. So believe it or not, if you are a single man or woman, you're actually in the best situation that you could possibly be. The less you have going on, the better. Because what changes is the time. It's all about the times. Okay. And as we just read, when there's evil times, You're going to say, blessed are those who don't even have to worry about nursing or taking care of children, unless your children are of age. And this is a time we're coming like no other. I got a friend, he told me the last time we was there, he really desires to have a wife and kids and all that. And I said, hey, look, believe it or not, you may not see it this way, but you're actually in the best situation you can be by just being by yourself. May not seem like it, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Look at how these people are reacting who are dependent on the system. Look at the things they're saying. So believe it or not, you're actually in the blessed position to have little in your faith in Yahweh Shem Yahshua. And, obviously, the brothers who are in the truth and have the dependents and the wife and the family and all those things, pray to Yahweh Shem Yahshua for protection, because we know the times are coming in. But take heed to the counsel coming from both Yahweh and Yahushua through the Spirit, that as the times get evil, all right, the less you actually got going on in your life, the actual better that you are. So just keep that in mind. So with that, I say shalom.